Amandla ebantwini. Long live the spirit of King Mustafa, long live. Long live the spirit of King Isa, long live. Long live the spirit of King Damasa, long live. Long live the spirit of King Sibupune, long live. Long live the spirit of King Shama, long live. Long live the spirit of King Lamadbalele, the rainmaker of Amasubi, long live. Long live the spirit of Colonel Muammar Gaddafi of Libya, long live. Long live the spirit of Rain Queen Mujaji of Limpopo, long live. Long live the spirit of Patrice Lumumba of the DRC, long live. Long live the spirit of Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso, long live. Long live the spirit of Kenneth Kaunda, the father of African humanism in Zambia, long live. Long live the spirit of Mwalimu Julius Nyerere, the father of African socialism in Tanzania, long live. Long live the spirit of Kwame Nkrumah, the father of social communism, long live. Long live the spirit of Christian, long live. Long live the spirit of Stephen Bantu Biko, the father of black consciousness, long live. Long live the spirit of Nyamela, of Amanala in Mpumalanga, long live. Long live the spirit of King Mabogo of Amanzunza in Mpumalanga, long live. Long live the spirit of King Basil Mark Douglas, long live. Members of the National Executive Committee, leaders from all our 9 provinces, comrades and friends, allow me to take this opportunity to pay heartfelt tribute and salute the above mentioned divine kings and the true freedom fighters who laid down their lives for the political freedom that we are enjoying today. The Congo's first democratically elected head of government was assassinated on January 17, 1961. Patrice Lumumba, the victim, was only 35 years old, had been in power for a little over 2 months, and was murdered only 6.5 months following Congo's independence. This heinous crime was a culmination of 2 interrelated plots by the US and the Belgian governments. He was killed because he was not compromising in defense of Congolese national interests, protecting Congolese national resources from being looted by the colonizers, but was betrayed by his own comrades. The same happened to Thomas Sankara in Burkina Faso when he was radically transforming the country for the benefit of the poor masses in that country. The colonizers used his own friend to kill him. In April 1993, Comrade Chris Hani was assassinated in South Africa. An attempt to kill Chris Hani in exile was made by the AIC. This was after Hani and 6 of his comrades penned a memorandum complaining of the nepotism, fraud and corruption in the ANC. After several of the Wangi and Spolino campaigns of 1967 to 1968, Hani's Payne's hearing was held and he was sentenced to death, a sentence later overturned by the intervention of Comrade Nzwayi and the then acting president, O.R. Tambo. You can read the book, Comrade, titled The Shadow of Liberation by Vishnu Pagayachi and Robert Faniger. You will get the stories there. Then you will begin to understand as to what kind of leadership we are having in South Africa. It's bad, comrades. Bad. Comrades, the picture I am trying to paint here is the fact that true leaders who are genuinely fighting for the interests and aspirations of the poor masses, black South Africans in particular, are being permanently eliminated from the society by their own comrades and friends who are working hand in hand with the colonizers. We are living in the age of neo-colonialism, boosted by neoliberalism. If we are still having the ruling elite, which is taking instructions from the Western imperialists, we are not going to see and witness radical economic transformation in our lifetime. Remember Adam Smith, the father of capitalism, who promoted the survival of the fittest and advocated for the zero-sum game in the economy. Which simply means, comrades, that the rich become richer and the poor become poorer, which means the ruling class and their cronies will continue to live in heaven while they are still alive on this earth, whereas the majority of the poor masses are encouraged to pray to the white God and the white Jesus in order for them to see the heaven after death. The time has come for us as black majority who are living in townships, squalor camps, in rural areas, etc., to create our own heaven while we are still alive. We will do this by rejecting the rot and corruption in the ruling class. We will do this by claiming our power back from lumpen politicians. Let's put this so-called rainbow nation, which is the propaganda of liberal democracy under scrutiny. As a black nation, let's go back to black. Let's embrace African humanity, not liberal democracy. We are not Europeans, Congress. We are black Africans in Africa. One of the religious leaders, when delivering the sermon in one of the funerals I attended recently, she said, in black African literature, there is nothing called the street kids. Because as black Africans, in our communities and villages, we look after one another. We are having extended families, comrades. Those who have adopted Western cultures, they call it black tax, we call it Ubuntu. Comrades, we are here today to say to the people of South Africa, more especially the poorest of the poor, that we beg you to employ us as members of the African Independent Congress to be your servants, because you are government. The power is in your hands. We will work for you. We will put your interests first. We will do what you want us to do. We will promote the government of the people, by the people, for the people. Yes. We are not here, good people, to make promises, because we know exactly what you want as a people. First and foremost, you want respect. You want to be respected as human beings. You want to comfortably support your families. You want a better standard of living. More importantly, you want public representatives at all levels of state, nation, who will make laws and policies that will address your needs. In 2014 Congress, when the former President Jacob Zuma was campaigning, he said, South Africa is very rich, saying that they will build shopping malls in the rural areas. Surely, this is something that can be realized if we are having a people-centered ruling class. South Africa is an economic hub of Africa following the Democratic Republic of Congo. South Africa is rich in mineral resources. Agricultural economy fully supported by the state can go a long way to address the poverty cycle, more especially in the rural areas, where people find themselves in absolute poverty. Absolute poverty, comrades, is a standard of poverty that is based on an income level or access to resources, especially food, clothing, and shelter, which are insufficient to keep body and soul together. AIC commitments. I said we are not promising. We are not here for promises. The AIC founded in December 2005 has identified a business gap in South African political landscape and therefore adopted a central theme of preparing the people to take center stage in governance. This has been propelled by the fact that the liberal democracy, fondly called constitutional democracy, which we voted for in 1994, April 27, is not benefiting the poor masses of this country. Instead, it is benefiting the elite minority group of thugs who are mainly concerned with self-enrichment through Margaret. Thank you very much. Through corrupt activities and political injustice, the AIC, amongst other things, seeks to transform local government, to manifest the will of the people, to be engine rooms of social democracy based on African humanity, where decision-making will be influenced by issues affecting the people. The AIC believes that citizens must give form to societies they would like to live in, like those expressed frustration in Tunisia, those expressed defiance in Egypt, those expressed the need to direct their own future, like in Southern Sudan. Even in our own country, South Africa, we are witnessing and experiencing service delivery protests and the looting spree in July 2021. These happenings in the said countries are a demonstration of the fact that the political administration in these countries, South Africa included, has failed the people. The AIC will change this political climate, more especially in South Africa, by transferring power into the hands of the people. In 2021, local government elections scheduled for the 1st of November marks the sixth term since its inception in 1995. Local municipalities are the nearest sphere of government to the people and should be the most funded and the most functional with good governance ethics. The AIC has since identified some problematic factors that hinder service delivery in our communities. Corruption, wasteful and fruitless expenditure, overpaid, underqualified and underperforming managers, nepotism, self-enrichment, and factional battles within the ruling party, let alone the cadre deployment. Therefore, the AIC will ensure the employment of highly qualified and ethical managers. The AIC will ensure that nepotism and self-enrichment and any form of corruption is done away with. The AIC will ensure that people get basic needs as their human rights, like water, road sanitation, houses, community health facilities, etc. On tender processes, the AIC will do away with the tender processes on refuse collection and ensure permanent job creation in this regard. The AIC will ensure that permanent jobs are created to keep our municipalities pothole free, The AIC will ensure that people are getting clean water all the time. Traditional leaders. Traditional leaders are the first people who fought battles with the colonizers in defense of people's land, even before the formation of political organizations or interest groups. Therefore, our divine leaders cannot be treated as political children by their own subjects. It is an anomaly which needs to be corrected. The AIC will fight for traditional leaders to get full recognition in the Constitution, and their traditional authorities must get a dedicated budget from the National Treasury. Traditional leaders are the first custodians of stability and development, and the AIC is the only party that puts traditional leadership at the center of community development. The AIC is at pain in calling for the doing away of district municipalities and the reduction of provinces in our country. To save and minimize costs and funds which are being looted by these government structures. Just for an example, let's say each province is allocated 2 billion by the National Treasury each financial year. For 9 provinces, the National Treasury is coughing out 18 billion. If you reduce provinces to 4, the National Treasury will save 10 billion. And the money could be channeled to the traditional authorities for development in their areas. The AIC will ensure that the budget is allocated for skills development in our rural communities, townships included. A baseline survey will be conducted in all communities to establish as to what kind of skills people are having in a particular community. Remember, there are people in our communities who worked on the mines, and some of them know how to connect water pipes. And those who worked at the steel firms, who know a lot about welding and other stuff, these people could be assisted to create jobs in their communities. The AIC will ensure the establishment and formation of co-ops, faith-based organizations, community-based organizations, close corporations. This will go a long way in promoting self-reliance, sustained livelihoods, and community development at large. The AIC will ensure that people are actively involved in decision-making on IDP programs and the proper implementation thereof. The AIC will hold its public representatives accountable at all times. The AIC foot soldiers, that is, AMA volunteer comrades, will provide and impart relevant information in accordance with the needs of all vulnerable families. That is, elderly people, people living with disabilities, single parents, child-headed households due to COVID-19, HIV, and AIDS, and your substance abuse, of course. The AIC felt that, comrades, political education is very important. Therefore, the AIC will work hand in hand with the academics
more especially political scientists, to develop each one modules for our communities to learn and understand politics and be enlightened citizens. Youth and women on socio-economic development. It is a well-known fact that the youth and women constitute approximately 70% of each and every community population, and thus are vulnerable to all social ills like unemployment, illiteracy, poverty, etc. The AIC will prioritize youth, women in all community-based development programs according to the needs of a particular community, of course. The AIC will ensure that local rehabilitation centers and safety houses are built for victims of substance abuse and domestic violence. The AIC will ensure, that is on housing now and indigent policy. The AIC will ensure that the indigent programs benefit all relevant community members irrespective of political affiliation. The AIC will ensure that the housing subsidy benefits all according to their needs. The AIC will enable community members with a choice on how they would want to build their houses. I know this one is very important to the media comrades. AIC, ANC coalition. I know the media is very interested in our coalition with the ANC. Comrades and fellow South Africans, you will recall that immediately after 2016 local government elections, the ANC came running with their tails between their legs, pleading us to enter into a coalition with them. This is after they nearly lost all the metros. They wanted us at least to retain the Ekurhuleni metro. When we agreed, comrades, to enter into a memorandum of agreement where both parties signed on the 24th of April 2017 in Durban, KZN. This is after they agreed to our demands of reincorporation of Matatiele local municipality back to KZN as per the will of the people. The opening of the Agricultural College in Matatiele, adjunct of Maluti, the tarring of all provincial roads with specific reference to the road connecting Lesotho and South Africa, resulting in Matatiele being declared a northern point. The ANC is expected, comrades, to deliver on these demands, or else we will take the matter back to the Constitutional Court. We have already consulted with Bahamu TB Demarcation Forum and the Mutse Demarcation Forum. We have agreed on the approach, and pretty soon we will be consulting with the lawyers. Other than that, comrades, the AIC performed pretty well in the coalition. In Nelson Mandela Metro, eGqeberha, in Ekurhuleni, here in Gauteng, in the city of Johannesburg, and in Rustenburg. We therefore salute all comrades deployed in these municipalities. Can Bakabel Zanza Congress? Because one of the media persons was asking me a question recently to say, Mr. Gallo, you have entered into a coalition with the ANC in Ekurhuleni. What is it that the people of Matatiele are benefiting? When responding to that question, I told this person that the people of Matatiele are everywhere. You go to the city of Johannesburg, you will find the people of Matatiele. You go to Ekurhuleni Metro, you will find the people of Matatiele. You go to Rustenburg, you will find the people of Matatiele. You go to Nelson Mandela Metro, you will find the people of Matatiele. You go to the city of Cape Town in Western Cape, you will get the people of Matatiele. So the people of Matatiele comrades are everywhere and they are benefiting in this community. Not only the people of Matatiele, but all the people. Because as African Independent Congress, we managed to influence the decisions in those municipalities to ensure that when job opportunities are created, the ANC is not employing only members of the ANC. Comrades, in conclusion, the AIC is a people-centered grassroots movement founded by the people for the people. Therefore, fellow South Africans, we beg you to employ us as your true servants. You will do this by voting the African Independent Congress on the 1st of November 2021. I thank you, good people. Amandla! Balini!
All right, that was the AIC launching its manifesto. There's lots happening on a watch. We've just got a few more minutes, but I want to get into this big story. The People's United Democratic Movement is currently holding a media briefing to communicate the latest developments in Eswatini.